Okay, I just got out of the screening of Logan. Ooh, probably say about almost half an hour ago. It's a 2.5 hour long movie, not including trailers, so maybe I might be a little off on that time. Anyway, getting briefly to the recap of the movie here. Instead of a post-credit sequence, the film has a pre-credit sequence involving Deadpool. Basically, you see Deadpool walking down the street. He's wearing a mask and everything, and he sees a mugging. He says, "Oh, I'm going to stop this," and he runs into a phone booth. They literally start playing the John Williams Superman score. You know, Deadpool bursts out, and it's too late. The mugger's already killed the guy, and so he's sitting there like, "Oh, well." You know, where did that phone booth come from anyway? I thought they tore those out in 2008. And you know what? Maybe I should have just called someone on my cell phone, or. And then it goes. Also, while he's changing in the phone booth, there's actually a graffiti tag that says, "Nathan Summers coming soon." And then the thing ends with a little tag that says, "Deadpool 2 coming not soon enough." At that point, we begin the film proper, which is weird to start something that's really, really funny, and then we enter the film, which is not funny, but it's not trying to be funny, at least. You know, we see the beginning of the film, a bunch of guys are trying to steal Logan's car. He's basically working as a chauffeur. He tries to spring his claws, but they only come out a little bit of the way, and one of them, barely comes out at all. And you get the idea that he's old and his healing factor is starting to fail. The film takes place in the year 2029, which is on the other side of this one, sorry. The film takes place the year 2029. Logan and Charles Xavier are basically hiding out in Mexico. Charles Xavier is... he's losing control of some of his powers, his mental faculties. He's going senile. He seems to also be having seizures of some sort. And basically these seizures they cause really intense pain to people in the surrounding area. It's also possible that the seizures killed the X-Men. They don't exactly explain what happened to the other X-Men. They just talk about the Westchester incident, and there's not a lot of what's going on there. Like I said, Wolverine is getting older. His healing factor is diminishing completely, and it's also possible he's suffering from adamantium poisoning. Anyway, they're living in Mexico with Caliban, who is a character from the comics. He was a mutant who lived with the Morlocks. And he can detect mutants. He actually talks in this. He's played by Stephen Marchant from The Office, and was working with The Rock on the biography of the WWE star Paige, about her family, if you know her backstory there. Anyway, as Logan's working a funeral, he's contacted by a woman named Gabrielle, who has a young child with her named Laura, who is X-23, and the two are pursued by a group called Transgen. Basically this company that was fronted by an American corporation. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make mutant soldiers. Basically the mutant population is dying. It's not entirely sure. Again, they don't seem to explain. They don't really explain what's going on. It's there was a lot of mutants who were killed, probably by Charles Xavier. It's not exactly explained how or when, but it was about 2 years ago or so. I know that part, but they don't go into the entire premise. The transgen people come after them. They kill Gabrielle. Laura hitches a ride with Logan. Unbeknownst to him, he takes him back to the facility. Turns out that Charles has actually been psychically communicating with Laura. Laura is the character X-23 from the comics, who is sort of a female clone of Wolverine. The transgen people, what they've been doing is they've been basically making mutants. They've taken the DNA from deceased mutants, managing to work it in, but I think they impregnated women with the DNA, or possibly, they're not quite clones because there's actually some deciding factors that go into this. because there's like a character who has Iceman's powers, but it's a girl and she's Mexican, or herself is a girl. There's another character that has like Jubilee's powers, but it's actually a boy. So anyway, basically Laura is trying to seek a location called Eden that was described in the X-Men comic books. Because there was actually an X-Men comic at some point, and Logan basically says, not all of that happened. Or not, you see in the trailer, he says, not everything happened the way they said it did. A lot of people die. Anyway, the transgen people come after. They discover Laura has, the Logan powers. They flee. But the transgender people get Caliban. Caliban can track mutants, and they start using him to do that. Anyway, and they go on the road. That's where you get a lot of there's a lot of just traveling in the movie, and not so much character bonding. Most of it is Xavier and Logan just kind of bickering back and forth. Xavier sort of loops in and out of, let me think, it's lucidity. Sorry. So he's like, no, you don't understand. We're trying to save people. And he's like, Logan is like, there's no Eden. We're doomed. I've been trying to get us into a safe haven. You're trying to get us away from these things because I know they would come after us at some point. Our family takes them in. The family gets killed. Also, it turns out that there's another mutant called X-24 who is essentially an exact clone of Wolverine. Except he even pieced together more mutants. So I know it's going to tick a bunch of you guys off that I'm referencing this, but it's basically Wolverine crossed with the Deadpool from the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie. Yeah, sorry for bringing that part up. Anyway, they start fighting over it. Like I said, they fight. Eventually, Xavier is killed by X-24. They try to kidnap Laura. Logan manages to fight off long enough to rescue Laura again. They bury Xavier. They eventually manage to get to Eden, and it turns out like all of the other mutants from the Transgen Project have managed to get their way there. They're getting ready to kind of cross into North Dakota, which it's not North Dakota. Yeah. It's amazing how much North Dakota doesn't look at all like Southern California. I don't know if you were familiar with this entirely, but there was a show on ABC about the oil boom in North Dakota. It was a drama, and one of the main complaints about it, especially here, was they had pictures of the Rocky Mountains all over the place, and a bunch of people said, there are no mountains in North Dakota. Again, there are no mountains in North Dakota. Anyway, however, Transgen managed to track them down again. There's one big final battle. Logan takes a special drug that had been given to the Transgen mutants, and it kind of like amps up the rage factor in them. It does sort of re-accelerate his healing factor. Unfortunately, he takes too much of it, and it's very short-lived. But he and Laura manage to work together. They free the captured mutants. They square off with X-24. The other mutants begin using their powers too, just to fight off the other soldiers, because they realize they have to fight even though they don't want to. They square off with X-24. Throughout the whole film, Logan had been carrying an adamantium bullet for which to take his own life. Laura managed to get her hands on it. She puts it in a gun and she shoots X-24, kills him instantly. Kind of throughout the battle, like I said, Wolverine's healing factor has been basically fading. And he's also possibly suffering from some form of adamantium poisoning. And they don't really elaborate too much on it. It's just he's dying. And as a result, he winds up dying from his wounds in the Battle of X-24, and that's kind of it. They bury him. Laura and the others go through to Eden, and that's how the film ends. Like I said, this wasn't a bad film. I know I had some big complaints there, but really, this was pretty good. A really solid R-rated comic book movie. This is R-rated. There's a lot of swearing, a lot of blood, a lot of violence, even a little bit of nudity. Uh, yeah, it's not important where the nudity is really, but you know, I would say it's sort of an inverse in terms of R-rated scale with Deadpool, or Deadpool was just all the wacky, nonstop, all-out comedy stuff. There's really none of that in this movie except for that opening bit with Deadpool. The rest of it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, there is some humor, the banter between Logan and Xavier throughout the whole thing. Other than that, though, yeah, like I said, it's a pretty straightforward film. It's not bad. It's really good. It's enjoyable. Uh, Not quite a good rock and roll film, but really enjoyable. I would say go see it. I am going to give this an A. No real shock here. So, like I said, enjoyable, solid. You know, not a fun film by any stretch of the imagination, but still really darn good. Okay, trailer time. This is going to be really quick because our first trailer is the Belko Experiment, which is, as they're calling it, it was Office Space meets Battle Royale. Basically, it's some sort of business corporation where people live and work. Apparently, a bunch of them get caught smoking on top of the roof, and as a result, the higher-ups of the business say, you have to kill 30 of your fellow employees, or 60 employees will just die at random. Like I say, it could be enjoyable, but I don't know if it's I'm going to run out in the theater to see it. And then after that we have Ghost in the Shell again, followed by Life again, and then Chips again. It is funny that we saw Life, the trailer for Life again, because our next trailer after that, and our only other new trailer, is Alien Covenant, the movie that seems to be eerily similar to Life. Like I said, I talked about the similarities there. I guess I know for now that Alien Covenant is a sequel to Prometheus and another prequel to Alien, and apparently there's going to be at least one more that might be a sequel to Alien, not Aliens. It takes place in between Alien and Aliens. And then last, we have Fate of the Furious again. Weird, like I said, I know sometimes when you see a lot of movies together at once, yes, you tend to see a lot of the same trailers. I did not expect to see so many of the same trailers. I kind of thought we'd get something new. I mean, didn't the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer drop this week? See, there was another Red Band trailer, I think, that dropped somewhere. I know the Alien Covenant trailer dropped this week, too. I can understand maybe not Guardians of the Galaxy, just because, you know, this is an R-rated movie. Maybe you don't want to put what might be a, quote, family film. Family film might not be the best term for that, but something like that before this. But I'm trying to think, what was the other trailer that came out? Oh boy, it was another Red Band trailer. It's on the tip of my tongue, and it's just kind of slipping my mind. Anyway, next video will be the Fastlane recap and review. After that, the next movie review will be Kong on Skull Island. After that, it will be the Fantastic Four 1, 2, 3, 4 review. And then next movie review after that will be Power Rangers. So see you all then.